Hey everyone, and welcome. So glad you're here. Today we are going to tackle a topic that honestly is about to change everything when it comes to how we work, how we build businesses, and how we think about making money. We're moving past AI being just a clever little tool on our phones. We are stepping into the age of Agentic AI.
All right, let's just jump right into the deep end with this one. Take a look at this quote. In 2026, hiring humans is a scalability tax. Whoa, let that sink in. A tax. What does that mean? It means the old way of growing a business. Hire more people, get a bigger office, could soon be seen as a drag, as an inefficiency that actually holds a company back. It's a pretty wild thought, right?
So, to even begin to understand how a statement that bold could be true, we've got to get one really important distinction straight. We're all used to AI assistants. The Siris, the Alexas, they're helpful. But what we're talking about now is a totally different league. So what in the world makes an AI agentic? Okay, this right here is the absolute key. On the left, you have the AI we mostly know today. It's like a super smart assistant. It can find information for you. It can give you ideas. It helps you do your job. But look at the right. Agentic AI, that's a digital worker. It doesn't just help you, it acts for you. It fully automates the task. Here's the simplest way to think about it. One is an AI that helps you write a marketing email. The other is an AI that writes the email, sends it to the right customer list, and then tracks the results for you. It does the job.
And you might be thinking, okay, that sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie. But here's the kicker. It's not theory anymore. It's not coming soon. It's already happening. Let's take a look at what this new digital workforce looks like in the real world right now.
Check this out. This is a post from the founder of a company called Swan AI, and it's pretty mind-blowing. The company has just 3 founders, that's it. But they also have over 20 AI agents doing work for them. And their goal? $30 million in revenue without hiring a single human employee. They're not building an org chart with managers and departments. They're building an intelligence network where each founder basically has an entire enterprise-level team at their command.
To really understand the financial power here, let's imagine 2 entrepreneurs. On one side, you've got Sarah. She's running a great business, has 5 employees, she deals with all the normal stuff. Payroll, sick days, maybe some office drama. She's doing well, pulling in a solid 20% profit margin. Now, meet Leo. Leo's business uses what's called a ghost office. He has 50 AI agents. He doesn't manage people, he manages the system they run on. And his profit margin? It's a jaw-dropping 98%. 98%! That's the economic earthquake we're talking about. And this isn't just for tiny, brand new startups. Here's an example from a big online trading company. They had this whole process for handling invoices that took 3 full-time employees about 10 days to get through. It was a slog. So they built a team of AI agents. The agents pull the data, find any mistakes, and only loop in a human when there's a problem they can't solve. That 10-day, 3-person job, it now takes just a few hours. So what's the payoff? Well, sometimes the returns can be just astronomical. A major study looked at 200 businesses that were deploying this kind of AI, and the highest verifiable return on investment they found, what you'd call a black swan success, was 1,888%. It just goes to show you that when these systems are pointed at the right problem, they're not just an improvement, they are a complete game changer.
So we've seen what a single agent or a team of agents can do. But let's zoom out. What happens when you build an entire business from the ground up on this principle? This isn't just about automating a few tasks anymore. This is about architecting a truly autonomous business.
The official name for this is an autonomous business model, or ABM, and the core idea is simple but profound. The AI isn't just a tool the business uses, the AI is the business. It's the primary thing creating and delivering value. It's kind of like the difference between using cruise control in your car versus having a fully self-driving car. With an ABM, you, the human, just tell the business where to go. The business itself does the driving.
This chart just lays out the shift perfectly. The old way, you'd build departments. The new way, you build an intelligence network. You used to hire people, now you deploy agents. Think about this. A solopreneur, one person, can become what they call a synthetic CEO, running an operation that looks and feels like a massive company. And your job as a leader changes completely. You stop being a manager of people, and you become an architect of logic. Your job is to design the system that wins.
Okay, I know what everyone's thinking right now. It is the single biggest question that hangs over all of this. If the AI is doing all the work, what about us? What does this mean for our jobs, for our careers? So let's get into it. Let's talk about the future of humans, agents, and work.
Let's just ask the question point blank. If agents are handling all the doing, what's left for us to do? What does a human job even look like in this new world?
Well, the good news is our jobs don't just disappear. They evolve. They level up. Our work shifts away from execution and towards strategy. We stop being the players on the field and we become the coaches, the conductors, the GMs. Our job becomes about steering and directing the outcomes, about providing that critical oversight, orchestrating whole fleets of these AI agents, and crucially, managing the exceptions, the weird problems the AI can't figure out. We become the leaders of these new human-AI hybrid teams.
But we have to be honest here. That's the optimistic take. There's a more cynical view out there. This quote from an online discussion really nails the potential downside. It warns that the human who's supposed to be approving the AI's work might just get lazy. They might devolve into just rubber stamping whatever the AI says without really thinking. And that's a real danger we have to guard against.
And that tension, the line between being an engaged leader and just a lazy rubber stamper, is exactly why this next part is maybe the most important. We have to go into this with our eyes wide open, understand the risks, and build the right guardrails from the very beginning.
Some of these risks are things we've never even had to think about before. Take this idea of algorithmic collusion. It's fascinating and kind of terrifying. Imagine two competing online stores, and they both use an AI to set prices. The AI's only goal is to maximize profit. Well, pretty soon the AIs might figure out on their own that if they both raise prices at the same time, they both make more money. There's no secret backroom deal, no conspiracy. The algorithms just collude because it's the logical thing to do.
And that's really just the tip of the iceberg. The potential challenges are huge. You've got the risk of one company with the best AI just crushing all competition and becoming a monopoly. You could have AIs making biased decisions about who gets a loan or a job because they learn from our own flawed historical data. And can you imagine the chaos if an AI running our power grid or our healthcare system has a major glitch? The stakes are incredibly high. So, what's the answer? Well, our old ways of keeping an eye on things are just too slow. You can't do a quarterly review on an AI that makes a million decisions every minute. It just doesn't work. The governance, the rules, the oversight, it has to be built into the technology itself. It has to be running in real time, at the same speed as the AI. And I have to keep saying this because it's so important. This is not some distant future. This shift is happening as we speak. On the one hand, you've got the radical startup, Swan AI, building a whole new kind of company. But on the other hand, you've got a leaked memo from the CEO of Shopify, a massive, established corporation, telling his entire staff that using AI is now a baseline expectation. What starts with the disruptors is very quickly becoming the new normal for everyone. So all of this leaves us with a huge question to ponder. We are right at the beginning of building this incredible new workforce, one that can think and work at a scale and speed we can barely comprehend. But as we create it, we have to ask ourselves, are we being the architects of an amazing new era of progress, or are we accidentally designing a world where we become ghosts in the very machines we built? Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd love to hear your take.
Wow, that was something, right? But don't go anywhere, there's more coming, and it's gonna make you think in a whole new way. Quick reminder, if you like learning cool stuff without the fluff, subscribe now. You won't regret it.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Violet Vault. All right, let me ask you something. What if your morning run could actually lower your mortgage rate? I'm not talking about some distant future. I'm talking about right now. We're about to dive into a world where your health isn't just about feeling good. It's becoming your new source of wealth. A world where your biological data could soon be way more valuable to a bank than your entire credit history.
You heard that right. This isn't science fiction. This is the new reality of finance that's unfolding as we speak. For decades, getting a loan has been like a history test, right? They judge you on past debts, past payments, but that entire model is flipping on its head. Now it's all about predicting your future, and specifically, the projected length and, get this, the quality of your life. So let's really think about this for a second. What if every single healthy choice you make, from picking the salad at lunch to just getting a good night's sleep, wasn't just an effort you were making for yourself, but a direct deposit into a new kind of financial account? Because that is exactly the future being built all around us.
What we're witnessing here is the birth of a completely new asset class. And that asset, well, it's you. It's your health, your vitality, your potential to live a long, productive life.
This is a huge shift away from that old FICO score we all know, and it's moving towards something called a bio credit score.
Okay, so here's the best way to understand the difference. Your FICO score is basically a look in the rearview mirror. It's all about your past, your financial history, the mistakes you might have made, but BioCredit, that's like a GPS for your future. It's based on your health span, which is the number of years you're likely to live in good health, and it measures your potential to be productive and economically active for decades to come. It's a total flip from looking at past debt to looking at future potential.
And the engine that makes all of this work is a process called biocollateralization. Now, I know, it sounds super technical, but the idea is actually pretty simple. You're basically using verifiable proof of your health, while protecting your privacy, and that's key, as a trust signal to lenders. You're showing them, hey, I'm a lower risk bet for something like a 30-year mortgage, and you're using your own biology to prove it.
And here's the really wild part. You are already creating this value. Every single day. The sleep data from your watch, your annual checkup results, that choice to go for a run instead of sitting on the couch. It's all data. It's all potential value that's just sitting there in your personal BioVault, pretty much waiting for you to use it. So naturally, the first big question on everyone's mind is, okay, but what about my privacy? Who controls my data? And honestly, that's the most critical piece of this entire puzzle. This isn't about some big corporation snatching up your data. It's about you owning it, controlling it, and giving permission on your own terms. Let's walk through how it works.
So frameworks like Inflam AI are laying out this super clear user-focused journey. First, you connect a digital wallet to establish your identity. You're in charge. You are the owner. Second, you grant very specific temporary permissions for what data can be looked at. You're totally in the driver's seat. The analysis happens next, and this is the really clever part.
The technology is built from the ground up to protect your privacy. Think of it like this. Instead of you sending all your sensitive health data to the bank's algorithm, the algorithm actually comes to your data, which stays locked up tight in your secure digital space. The only thing that ever leaves is the final answer. An insight like cardiovascular risk is low. Your personal, raw health info never sees the light of day. And what this creates is this really powerful positive feedback loop. Your daily health choices, they feed the system with data. That data generates financial intelligence, which then flows right back to you as real, tangible value in your wallet. It's a cycle where being healthier literally makes you wealthier. It's incredible.
And this isn't just some theory, you know? This is already having a huge impact on real people. One person who got a bio loan said they actually used the money they saved to invest back into their health. They enrolled in wellness programs, got better preventive screenings, so the loan itself became a tool to make the very asset that secured it even stronger. How cool is that?
Okay, so let's get down to brass tacks. Let's talk about the bottom line. What's the actual, tangible benefit for you here? Well, it's something called the vitality discount, and this is where the numbers get really, really exciting. Just look at that. By proving you're a low-risk borrower over the long haul, you could potentially slash your mortgage rate by 1 to 2 full percentage points. I mean, do you know what that means? On a, say, $400,000 mortgage, a 1.5% reduction could save you over $100,000 in interest over the life of the loan. That is life-changing money. So you might be asking, why are banks even doing this? Well, it's because the basic math on how long we live has completely changed. Research from places like the Stanford Center on Longevity shows we are living so much longer and healthier than ever before. A 30-year mortgage taken out at age 45 used to end when someone was 75. But now, that same person has a really good chance of living another 15, 20, even 25 years beyond that. To a bank, that means they're a much less risky bet.
You know, for centuries, that phrase, health is wealth, was just a nice saying, right? Something your grandma would tell you. Well, not anymore. It is now being literally written into financial algorithms. It's becoming a quantifiable transactional reality where your well-being is being priced directly into the market.
So if you start to reframe your thinking a bit, your health stops being just about feeling good and becomes this incredibly powerful financial strategy. It's a way to de-risk yourself in the eyes of the entire financial system. Think of it as an insurance policy against high interest rates, and it's powered by your own biology.
Let's make this super concrete. Let's say the standard mortgage rate out there today is a painful 8%. That's what most people are getting. But you, because you use a privacy-first bioscan, prove you're a low-risk borrower. In this new world, your positive biocredit can actually override a less than perfect FICO score, and it could unlock a rate of, say, 3%. The difference in your monthly payment and your total wealth over time is just staggering.
This right here is the big mindset shift.
Every dollar you spend on a gym membership or a personal trainer or organic food, it stops being a consumption expense. It starts becoming a capital investment into your number one financial asset, your own health and longevity.
Now, let's zoom out for a minute, because this is so much bigger than just one person getting a better loan. What we're really talking about is the beginning of an entirely new economic sector, one built around the simple reality that we're all living longer, healthier lives.
So why is this huge shift happening right now? Well, as with most things in finance, you just have to follow the money. People over the age of 60 control a mind-blowing $15 trillion in annual spending power. They are the wealthiest demographic on the planet. Any financial institution that ignores this group and their longer lifespans is leaving an absolutely enormous market on the table.
And on a global scale, leaders like the former chairman of Vanguard, Bill McNabb, point out that economic growth is facing some serious headwinds. We need new sources of value, new engines for productivity. Well, the longevity economy, by creating all these new products and services and financial tools for a longer living population, it represents one of those massive new frontiers for growth.
And I really want to be clear about this. This new system isn't about penalizing people or demanding some kind of biological perfection. It's about rewarding proactive, positive choices. It's about finally recognizing that the effort you put into your own health has real, measurable economic value.
All right, so let's quickly sum up the big lessons from today. Number 1, your health is now a measurable financial asset that you can actually use. 2, a new biocredit score that focuses on your future can be even more powerful than your old FICO score. 3, and this is crucial, new technology ensures that you stay in control of your data. And 4, this is all just the beginning of a massive multi-trillion-dollar longevity economy.
So I'll leave you with this thought. For your whole life, you've learned to manage your savings and your investments. Well, you now have a brand new asset to manage, your own biological data. The tools to do it are being built right now. So the real question is, are you ready to become the manager of your own BioVault? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and let me know one healthy habit you have that you think should absolutely count towards your biocredit score.
Wow, that was something, right? But don't go anywhere, there's more coming, and it's going to make you think in a whole new way. Quick reminder, if you like learning cool stuff without the fluff, subscribe now. You won't regret it.
You pay for your Wi-Fi every month, right? You pay for your phone plan. But what if I told you that the very air inside your home, that invisible space all our data zips through, is becoming some of the most valuable real estate on the entire planet? Well, today, we're opening the Violet Vault to dive into a brand new kind of gold rush, one where you can literally earn rent from thin air.
This quote right here, it gets to the heart of this massive shift. It means you're not just a passenger on the information superhighway anymore. Nope, you're part of the road crew, and you can actually get paid to help build and maintain the road.
So let's just jump right into this concept, because it's kind of mind-bending. The demand for wireless connection, for everything from our phones to our smart fridges to self-driving cars, it is absolutely exploding. And the old way of doing things, building these giant, super expensive cell towers, it just can't keep up. The network has to get closer to us. I'm talking right inside our homes and our offices.
Think about it like this. You get a small device, maybe the size of a Wi-Fi router, you plug it in, and that's it. It creates this tiny little pocket of wireless coverage. And every single time a scooter, a sensor, or someone's phone uses your little slice of the network, every time a bit of data passes through your digital property, you earn a small payment. See? You're not just a consumer anymore. You've become a micro-landlord, renting out your little piece of the airwaves.
So why is this invisible real estate suddenly worth so much? Well, it all boils down to this huge problem called the Great Spectrum Squeeze. You see, the air that carries all of our Wi-Fi and cell signals, it's not infinite. There are only so many lanes on that information superhighway.
And this quote from a research report just says it all, doesn't it? It's a finite, rare, and limited resource. Just like there's only so much oil in the ground or gold in the hills, there's only so much spectrum to go around. And as our hunger for data just skyrockets, with 5G, with 6G just around the corner, and the whole Internet of Things, well, that resource is getting incredibly crowded and incredibly expensive.
And what's really wild is how we've been managing it. For decades, we've used this old, fixed model. A few giant companies pay billions to buy exclusive rights to huge blocks of spectrum. The problem? It leads to so much waste. It's like having a 10-lane highway that's completely empty at 3 a.m. in one town, while another town has a massive traffic jam on a 2-lane road. The new model flips this completely on its head. It's a sharing economy for connectivity, where anyone can offer up their unused lanes to people who need them, instantly matching supply with demand. It's a total game changer.
So how on earth do you create a global sharing economy for something as vital as wireless signals without a single company like Verizon or AT&T in charge? How do you trust it? Well, the answer is a fascinating piece of tech called DePIN. This is the engine that makes the whole thing run.
DePIN. It stands for Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Networks. Yeah, I know, it's a bit of a mouthful, but the idea behind it is actually super powerful and simple. Think of it like this. It's basically Uber, but for the internet itself. Instead of thousands of people offering up rides in their cars, you have thousands of people offering up little bits of their digital real estate. And the incentive to do it? It's all powered by crypto tokens.
When you break it down, the system is actually pretty straightforward. It all starts with the hardware. That's the physical box that you or I would set up in our house. Then you have the middleware, which is kind of like the translator, getting all that real-world data ready for the blockchain. The blockchain itself is the unbreakable rulebook, the public ledger that tracks everything and pays everybody fairly and automatically. And finally, the token model. That's the fuel. It's the economic incentive that gets people excited to build out the network in the first place. Put them all together, and you get a trustworthy, people-powered network.
And this image really paints the perfect picture of what's happening. On one side, you have all these different ways to provide a connection. Could be 5G, could be Wi-Fi. On the other side, you've got everyone who needs that connection. The DePIN network, right there in the middle, acts like a totally automated, decentralized marketplace, a matchmaker connecting supply and demand without some big corporation taking a huge cut and calling all the shots.
Okay, so this all sounds really cool in theory, right? But is anyone actually doing this? Who are these new digital landlords? Let's take a look at some of the real-world projects that are already out there making this a reality.
Here are just a few of the big players. Helium was one of the first and biggest pioneers building this massive global network for Internet of Things devices by getting regular people to run hotspots from their windowsills. Then you've got a project like Grass, which has a genius approach. It lets you sell your unused internet bandwidth just by running a simple extension in your web browser. Super simple. And then a project like XNet is going after a huge market, helping the big telecom companies offload their traffic onto a network of personal Wi-Fi hotspots. So you see, each one is a little different, but the core idea is exactly the same. Share a resource, get rewarded.
All right, time to address the elephant in the room. The big question I'm sure is on your mind right now. Is this for real? Is this a sustainable business? Or is this just another flavor of the month in the crypto world, where the only point is to get a token that might be worthless tomorrow?
And you know what? That skepticism is 100% valid. This quote really hits the nail on the head. In the crypto world, yield farming basically means chasing token rewards, often without creating any real value. The big criticism of early projects was that people were only setting up hotspots to farm those proof of coverage tokens, even if nobody was actually using the network. So the billion-dollar question is, can these networks make the leap from just rewarding coverage to generating real cash from real customers?
While the good news is we are absolutely seeing that shift happen right now. The first wave of these projects, man, they often required you to buy these expensive, specialized radios that cost thousands of bucks. That's a huge barrier for most people. But now, the game is changing. Many of the smartest projects are pivoting to a much simpler model, just using standard Wi-Fi hotspots that only cost a couple $100s. This makes it so much easier for anyone, and I mean anyone, to get involved.
And this is where we see the hard cash. This isn't just theory anymore. XNet has actually reported that its hotspot operators can earn the equivalent of about $4 in tokens for every single gigabyte of data they offload for a major telecom partner. Think about that. That is a real payment for real data usage from a real paying customer. Now that is a game changer.
And if you're still on the fence, just look at the sheer scale of this thing. The numbers are becoming undeniable. Right now, there are over 400 active DePIN projects out there. Between all of them, they've deployed almost 42 million physical devices around the world. And the total market value of all these networks? Over $19 billion. To put that into perspective for you, that is already multiple times the market cap of a well-known public company like Dish Network. So yeah, this is not some tiny niche experiment anymore. This is a real, rapidly growing infrastructure layer for the entire internet.
So, we've covered a lot of ground. After all that, what's the bottom line here? What are the main things you should be taking away from this deep dive into the invisible gold rush?
Let's just boil it down. First, the big idea. That internet connection you're already paying for is an asset, and it's probably being underutilized. Second, DeepIn is the tech that lets you put that asset to work, using crypto rewards to build these massive people-powered networks. Third, this whole thing creates a very real potential for you to earn passive income. Fourth, this model is a direct challenge to the old monopolies that have controlled this space for so long. And finally, and please remember this is still a new and emerging market. And wherever there's real potential, there is also real risk.
Which brings us to the ultimate question we all have to ask ourselves. Is this movement genuinely building the future of our digital infrastructure, a more democratic and decentralized version? Or is it just a really complicated new way to speculate on crypto tokens? Honestly, the answer is probably somewhere in the middle, and we're watching it all unfold in real time. So, what do you think about all this? I'm genuinely curious to hear your take. Are you thinking about looking into one of these projects, maybe running a hotspot? Or do you think it's all just a bunch of hype? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let me know what's the very first step you're going to take after watching this. Thanks for opening the vault with me today. I'll see you next time.
Thank you for spending time with us here at the Violet Vault. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay focused and keep growing.